You're working nights and weekends, your team is underutilized, your manager is asking why you're the bottleneck, and you keep telling yourself, it's just faster if I do it myself. You know you need to delegate. You've been told 1,000 times, but every time you try, it feels wrong. This episode is about why and how you finally can let go. Here's the delegation paradox every technical leader faces. You became the leader because you were excellent at your job. Now your job is to stop doing the work and develop people who do it. But when you try to delegate, you hit these thoughts. By the time I explain this, I could have done it myself. They won't do it as well as I would. If it's not perfect, I'm still accountable. What if they make a mistake and it reflects badly on me? So you don't delegate, you take on too much, you work longer hours, you become the bottleneck. And your team, they stop growing because you're solving all of their problems for them. You're not helping them, you're limiting them, and you're burning yourself out in the process. This isn't sustainable, and you know it. I am Dr. 𝗂𝗂𝗵𝘃, and I coach technical professionals through one of the hardest transitions in leadership, learning to let go. And here's what you need to understand. Your inability to delegate isn't about trust, it's about identity. You built your career on being the person who delivers perfect work, on being the expert, the problem solver, the one with the answers. And now your leadership is asking you to be something completely different, the person who develops problem solvers. That's not a skill gap, that's an identity shift. And until you make that shift, every delegation framework in the world wouldn't help because you're still holding on to who you used to be. Let me show you how to make the shift. Before we go into how to delegate, we need to address the lies you tell yourself that keep you stuck. Lie number one, it's faster if I do it myself. You're right, it is faster if you do it yourself this time. But what about next time? What about the time after next? When you do it yourself, you're choosing short-term speed over long-term capacity. You save 2 hours today, but you commit yourself to doing this task forever. When you delegate and coach someone else through it, you invest 4 hours today, but you free yourself from this task for the rest of your career. The question isn't what's faster for you. The question is what builds capacity for tomorrow. Stop optimizing for today. Start building for scale. Lie number two, they won't do it as well as I would. Again, you're right. They probably won't do it as well as you would at first. As well as you would isn't the standard. The standard is good enough to achieve the goal. Stop measuring your work against your standard. Start measuring it against the actual requirement. Lie number three, if they make a mistake, I'm accountable. This one's real and it's scary. Yes, you're accountable for your team's work. Yes, if they make a mistake, it reflects on you. But you know what else you're accountable for? Developing your team's capabilities, creating capacity so your team can scale, not being the bottleneck that slows everyone down, building a team that can execute without you micromanaging every detail. And here's the hard truth. If you never let them make mistakes, they'll never learn to make good decisions. Your job isn't to prevent all mistakes. Your job is to create conditions where mistakes are small enough to recover from, visible enough to learn from, rare enough that they don't derail the work. That's called coaching, and it requires letting go. You can't develop judgment in people if you never let them practice using their judgment. Okay, you're ready to let go. Now the question is, what do you delegate and to whom? Here's the framework. Step one, categorize your work. Take everything on your plate and put it in 4 categories. Category 1, only you can do. Strategic decisions, high-stake relationships, authority required approval. This is maybe 20% of your work, maybe. Category 2 is what you can teach. Work you're great at, but someone else could learn with coaching. This should be 30 to 40% of your current work. Category 3, someone else is better at it. Work that doesn't play to your strengths, but plays to someone else on your team's strength. This is probably 20 to 30% of your work. Category 4, shouldn't be done at all. Work that's outdated, low impact, or meaningless. This is often 10 to 20% of what you're currently doing. Most technical leaders spend 60% of their time on category 2 and 3, work that someone else could do or do better. That's your opportunity. Don't just delegate to whomever has capacity, delegate strategically. Ask 3 questions. Who would benefit most from learning this? Delegation isn't just offloading work, it's developing people. Who on your team is ready for the next challenge? Give it to them. Whose strengths aligns with this work? Don't give detail-oriented work to your big picture thinker. Don't give relationship building work to your deep analytical person. Match the work to natural strengths. Who has the capacity and the motivation? Capacity without motivation equals resentment. Motivation without capacity equals burnout. So you need both. And if nobody on your team has the capacity or the capability, that's information you might need to hire or reprioritize or push back on what your team is being asked to deliver. But you can't keep doing it all yourself. Delegate the outcome, not the process. Here's where most technical leaders fail at delegation. They delegate the task, but not the authority. They tell someone what to do and exactly how to do it. That's not delegation. That's micromanaging with extra steps. Here's how to actually delegate. I need a recommendation on which vendor to choose, backed by analysis of cost, timeline, and risk. The decision is due by Friday. Not go research vendors. Set constraints and boundaries. Budget is $50K. Timeline is 6 weeks. You'll need to loop in procurement before finalizing. Not unlimited freedom with no guardrails. Clarify decision authority. You own this decision. Run your final recommendation by me before you commit, but I'm trusting your judgment. Or, this is a learning opportunity. Bring me 3 options with your recommendation. I'll make the final call, but I want to hear your thinking. Be clear about what level of authority they have. Establish check-ins. Let's check in Wednesday to make sure you're on track. If you hit a blocker before then, come find me. Not, let me know if you need anything, which means they'll never ask. And here's the most important part. Let them do it their way. If they achieve the outcome, their process doesn't have to match yours. Your way isn't the only way, and insisting on your way defeats the purpose of delegation. Now, let me tell you the #1 way technical leaders sabotage delegation. They delegate, then they take it back. Here's how that happens. You delegate a project, the person starts working on it, you check in, they're doing it differently than you would, you get anxious, that's not how I would approach this, so you help. You give detailed input, you redirect their approach, you essentially take over. And you just taught them, don't bother trying, you'll just take it back anyway. Here's what you need to understand. Delegation requires you to tolerate discomfort. The discomfort of watching someone do it differently than you would. The discomfort of them making small mistakes you could have prevented. The discomfort of not being in control of every detail. If you can't tolerate that discomfort, you can't delegate. And if you can't delegate, you can't scale. And if you can't scale, you'll burn out. So here's the truth. You can coach, you can ask questions, you can provide guardrails, but you cannot take it back unless it's truly about to fail catastrophically. And they're doing it differently than I would is not catastrophic failure. Let them own it. Here's what happens when you finally learn to delegate effectively. You stop being the bottleneck. Your team can move forward without waiting for you. Projects don't stall because you're overloaded. Your team gets stronger because they're solving problems instead of watching you solve them. They develop judgment, confidence, and capability. You have time for strategic work, the work only you can do, the work that actually moves the organization forward. You stop working nights and weekends because you're not doing everything yourself anymore. And here's the surprising part. You stop feeling guilty about not being hands-on because you realize hands-on isn't the goal. Developing a team that can execute without you, that's the goal. And that's what leadership actually is. Here's what I want you to do today. Audit your work using the 4 categories. What are you doing that only you can do? What could you teach someone else? What is someone else better at? What shouldn't be done at all? Write it down. Pick one thing from category 2 or 3 to delegate today. Not everything, one thing. Match it to the right person. Define the outcome clearly, set boundaries, give them authority. Download the delegation decision matrix. It walks you through the complete framework with templates for delegating effectively. And drop a comment. What's the hardest part of delegation for you? Letting go of control, trusting it'll get done right, tolerating someone else doing it differently. Let's talk about it. You're not alone in this struggle. Your value used to come from being the best at doing the work. Your value now comes from building a team that does great work without you being the bottleneck. That's not a demotion, that's leadership. And it requires you to let go of the identity that got you here. The expert, the one with all the answers, the person who does it perfectly, and step into a new identity, the developer of experts, the person who creates capacity, the leader who builds a team that scales. It's uncomfortable. It feels like loss, but it is the only way forward. The next episode, you're delegating. Your team is growing. You're not the bottleneck anymore, but you're exhausted. We're talking about the burnout that technical leaders don't see coming and the framework for leading sustainably without sacrificing results. Because if you burn out, nothing else matters. That's our next episode. I'm Dr. 𝗂𝗂'𝗿𝗏. This is the leadership gap nobody talks about. Let go of perfect. Build capacity instead. Let's keep closing the gaps together.